Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video that you are watching now, we'll talk about the types of nouns. To not make the video much lengthier, we have tried to talk about only the 7 types of the nouns. The contents are grouped here. What we'll discuss in this video, the topics are there. So the first topic that we'll be discussing is about the concrete noun. Secondly, we will talk about the abstract noun. Thirdly, we will talk about the common noun. In that sequence, we'll follow the proper noun, then the collective noun, then the countable noun, and later on, in the last but not the least, the uncountable noun. Why do I make this video? The reason is after watching this video, you will be able to define noun, use different types of nouns and sentences, differentiate between different types of nouns. These are the purposes why I make this video. Firstly, we'll talk about the very basic question related to the noun is about the noun, that what a noun basically is. A noun is a part of speech that names a person, place, thing, idea, etc. In a very simplest way, you can say that noun is the naming person, a naming word, which is naming a person, naming a thing, naming the object, whatever. So that particular uh, genre, that particular thing which is naming something will be called noun. In other words, you can simply define noun as noun is described as a word that refers to a person, place, thing, event, substance, quality, quantity, etc. It's not only talking about the things, the people, the places, but it's talking about the quality too. It's talking about the happiness, it's talking about the love, it's talking about the hate, the enmity, the quality, the substances which cannot be touched, seen, observed, and the things which can be perceived by our senses. So noun is a very broader area. In this place we'll talk about generally the noun. So examples you can see: the city, the place, sky, water, happiness, metal, birthday, pan, etc. All things which are discussed here in their examples, they belong to the nouns category. Now coming a little closer towards the other topic, the concrete noun. That nouns are then further divided into different types. Firstly, which we'll talk about is the concrete noun. So what a concrete noun basically is: concrete noun refers to real or physical objects. Objects which have body. Objects which are not qualitative, which are real. Objects which are real. In other words, you can say concrete nouns name a person, place, or thing that can be perceived by one or more of the senses. Rather, we can see something, rather we can touch something, rather we can feel something, we can move something from one place to another. So all the things which have their physical body, which have their physical objects, which can occupy the space, which has the bed, etc. For example, the tree, the cloud, the rock, water, air, person, cup, computer, diamond. All these things which are pronounced before you. If you were talking about the tree, so tree can be seen, tree has a body, tree can be touched, like we say cloud. Cloud may or may not be touched because it's high in the sky, but you can see it has physical object. It's something which can be touched. A rock has appearance, physical body it has. Like all these things, all those things which have the body, they are named concrete noun. Now thirdly, abstract noun. Unlike the concrete noun, abstract noun represents a thing that does not exist as a material object and is more like a concept or idea. If you have understood about the concrete noun, so I feel that this must be easier for you, and I believe that the abstract noun is more clear to you than anything else, because this is exactly the opposite of the concrete noun. Once you understand the concrete noun, so you can definitely understand the abstract noun. Whatever quality, why things are called concrete, if those qualities are not present in things, so then we call those things abstract. For example, something which can be seen, so that can be counted into the category of the concrete. So things which cannot be seen, definitely there will be the abstract nouns. So abstract nouns represents a thing that does not belong to the group of those things which have their physical body. Their existence is observed by our five senses. In other words, you can simply say that abstract nouns are words that name things that are not concrete. Things that are not concrete, the opposite of the concrete noun. Your five physical senses cannot detect an abstract noun. I mean to say, you can't see things which belong to the abstract noun. You cannot smell them, you cannot taste, you cannot hear or touch. In other words, in simplest way, you can say abstract nouns are all those nouns which cannot be seen, which cannot be smelt, which cannot be tasted, which cannot be heard, or even which cannot be touched, the things. So then what are those things? In those things, uh, there are fears. If you say fear, so fear is a noun, but it's not a certain noun which can be seen, or which is called such type of a thing like the tree, or the place, or a person. It doesn't belong to those things. It's quite different. Fear is nothing. Fear has nothing to do with the body. Fear is the idea. Fear is just the observation. It's just the senses. Like we say the happiness. Happiness can be felt, but it cannot be touched or it cannot be tasted. You cannot buy happiness in the market. Easy now. You can't say to the shopkeeper that give 2 kilogram of happiness, or 5 kilogram of love, or give freedom to every person, or 2 pieces of freedom to every person. These are not the things which can be bought or which can be sold or something like. They are only the ideas, they are only the feelings. So love, freedom, peace, friendship are all those nouns which we call the abstract noun. Now after that, there is the common noun. What's a common noun? Common nouns are words that refer to most general common things. It's clear from the very name of it. Name of it is the common noun. Common, which is general, which is not specific, which is not something that's not special. So anything which we not specify is called a common one. In other words, common nouns are words used to name general items rather than specific one. Suppose you say, I live in a country. An example, you can see country. When you say I live in a country, so there are, I think, around 200 countries. So which country do you talk about? It makes a type of confusion. It's not clear which country specifically you're talking about. But when you add the name of the country, when you say I live in Pakistan, so the confusion, everything is finished, and Pakistan means that Pakistan is the only country with this name in the whole world. So Pakistan is a specific one because you named him. You gave the name to the country, and when you generally say country, so it's a common one. Like we say evening. Which evening? It makes a confusion. It's not clarified, it's not specified. Yeah, you say I'm from village, so which village you are from? Which village do you belong to? It's not clear. It's something common. Village, every village can be called village, because village is not a name. Village is a place. The name of that place is not a village. Name of that place might be something like the name of the country was Pakistan. We say puppy, umbrella, person, tree. We are not talking about specific tree. We are not talking about the specific person. Not specifically we are defining the umbrella, or we are not talking about the special class of the puppy. We generally, so nouns which are generally said, generally spoken, generally discussed are called the common noun. Then, unlike the common noun, the proper noun is the name that identifies someone or something. In a common noun, you discuss that a person or a thing. Here you say Ali, and here you say a specific thing. Specifically, you are naming something, a person or a place. You're talking about special one person. You are not saying that there is a boy standing. A boy standing, boy again becomes common because every boy is called a boy. Every boy is called a boy, but every boy is not called Ali. So when you say a boy was standing there, it means you're talking about the common noun. When you say Ali was standing there, so Ali and boy, there is the hell in heaven difference. Boy can be every person and Ali cannot be every person. So proper nouns are capitalized. Whenever we are using the proper noun in a sentence, you must capitalize the first letter of the common noun. Like we say, John is a proper noun, so the word John represents a particular person. John is capitalized in this sentence. Examples are there. You are not saying a person, you say Ali. You are not saying a school, you say SPS, a specific school. SPS is not every school. Every school doesn't carry the name SPS. Yeah, we say Allama Iqbal. So Allama Iqbal is not the name of every person. It's the name of a special poet or national poet. Yeah, we say Honda. Honda is not the name of every company. Pakistan is not the name of all the countries. It's not the case that every country, whatever is a country, that will be called Pakistan. It's not the case. Like we say, every language is called English. So English is a specific language. So specifically, you are stating something. So then we are calling that thing a proper noun. What's then a collective noun? When you pronounce the word again, collective, collective means to collect something, to gather something. So it means that collective nouns refer to a group of people or things because it's called collective, mean collect something together into one. To group a lot of people, a lot of things, and give one specific name to that group. So then that name which you gave to the group or the people, that name will be called the collective noun. Collective noun is a collection of things taken as a whole. Just like I said, you you gather some type of people and you give the name to them a team. You say that's a team. A team means that in the team there will be a lot of people. So all the people are taken as a whole and given one name, team. So this team word this is called then the collective noun because the word team stands for a group of people, not for a single person. When speaking, there is a little bit difference between the American English and the British English while we are talking about the collective noun. So uh, American consider them as singular. Americans say the team is happy, the team is playing well, using singular verb with them, such as the group dances happily. When speaking British English, both singular and plural verbs might be used, such as the group dance happily. So I recommend you to use singular verb for the collective nouns. So while you are using the singular verb, so you are following the both American and British because both American and British are using the singular verb with the collective nouns. Examples are their class. When you say the class, so the class word represents a lot of students, a lot of people. Like we say class of fish. So this word represents a lot of fish. Team. Team is not called a single person. Team is called a group of people. Like we say army. In the army there will be a lot of soldiers. There will be a lot of officers. Like we say band, herd, set, flock, panel, etc. So when you group something, when you collect a lot of things or a lot of people, and when you give a specific name to those people, those things, so that specific name which you give, that's called the collective noun. Collective noun must be singular, as said here, as discussed here, that Americans and British both are using that for a singular, but British sometimes consider them plural, but that's not very much important for us. When we are talking about the collective noun, so collective noun will be a singular noun. That will be a single word, but which means the plural. Like we say class. So class is a single word, one noun, but class mean a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of fish. What's the countable noun? Before proceeding to more explanation, more definition regarding the countable noun, I would say that unlike the other nouns which I said, pronounce these nouns and half they will be clear, like you were talking about the collective noun. So collective nouns, certain noun which collect something. If you are doing the same with the countable noun, so then you are making yourself confused, because countable noun doesn't mean nouns which can be counted. As I have seen a lot of students, they are confused regarding their countable noun. They consider countable nouns to be as to be nouns which can be counted, but that's not the case. Countable nouns refer to things of which we can make plural. Countable nouns never mean certain nouns, such types of nouns, such types of things which we can count. It's not the case. Whether we can count or we cannot count, but nouns of which we can make plural will be called the countable nouns, and nouns of which we cannot make the plural are called the uncountable nouns. So in other words, you can simply say that countable nouns are those that refer to something that can be counted, but not like what I said. They have both counted in a sense that they have both singular and plural forms. Nouns which are having their both forms, the singular and plural forms, so then those nouns are called the countable noun. For example, we say pen, pens, ox, oxen, star, stars. As I discussed earlier, that countable nouns do not mean nouns which can be counted. If it was the case, then I think the stars do not fall in this category, because there are billions and billions of stars in the sky in the universe. We can never count them, but we can make a plural of them. We can say one star, two stars, star, stars. We can make singular and plural of them. That's right, but we can never count them. So if it was the case that countable nouns are those nouns which we can count, so then the stars wouldn't fall in this category. So when we are discussing about the stars in this category, in the group of countable nouns, so it signifies that countable nouns have nothing to do with the counting, with the number. Countable nouns are only called countable nouns because they have the singular and the plural forms. Like we say wall, walls, key, keys, etc. Now, after the countable noun, the opposite of the countable noun is the uncountable noun. Uncountable nouns refer to things of which we cannot make plural. In other words, in a simplest way, you can say anything that cannot be counted is an uncountable noun. Just put those words in other sense, in the opposite way. Whatever I said earlier in the previous slide, all those what I discussed make opposite of this. For example, I said nouns of which we can make plural are called countable. So nouns of which we cannot make plural are called uncountable. Just exactly the opposite of the countable noun. Whatever we said in the countable noun category, apart from those, every noun which we observe, which we can see, they will be called the uncountable noun. Anything that cannot be counted. Now, here if you are saying that things which we cannot count are called uncountable nouns, and you are right. Because uncountable nouns can neither be counted nor can be made plural. So in this case, if you are saying that things like you are talking about the stars, you say stars are not counted. You cannot count stars. So this is uncountable. So that's another way, that's wrong. But things which we cannot count are called the uncountable nouns, and they will always be singular, and one must always use singular verb with them whenever you're talking about the uncountable nouns, because they do not have their plural forms, so they will always come in a singular category, and always after them or before them there will be a singular verb. For example, you are talking about water. Whether you are talking about water in a glass or you are talking about water in the ocean, there is a hell and heaven difference between both of them. If you say water in a glass, so there will be little bit water. There will be very little, less water in the glass. But when you are talking about water in the ocean, so unimaginable water is there. We cannot imagine how much water there will be in the ocean, but still you will say what there is water in a glass and there is water in the ocean. Same will be the case for the sand. You cannot say one sand, two sand, three sand. There are 15 sand in the room and there are trillions of sands in the desert. It's not counted. Sands cannot be counted. Yeah, we say air, there is uh, four air, and in America there is six air. It's not correct. Sugar, oil, milk, news, hand, enmity, etc. All these are called the uncountable nouns. Now here we are talking about, I think it's finished. Thank you.